All right, welcome back to our third and final segment.
Yes, yes.
And so for this segment, as we promised, we'll be talking about Pride Day. And we have in with us the Executive Director of UniBAM, Caleb Orozco, as well as
Amir Gonzalez, who is a member of UniBAM. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good
How are
morning.
we?
I am relieved.
You are relieved.
I got here, I walked here, and there was no drama.
Oh, dude,
Wow.
I don't tell you already. It's a mellow Thursday morning. The sun is shining in Belize today because other parts of the rain. And, you know, we are here to celebrate and commemorate a special day. So love is love, and we are happy to celebrate love.
Absolutely. I'll take it on my pillow, put it on my shelf,
Perfect.
and put it in my kitchen from now on.
All right. Great. Thank you, Caleb. We appreciate that. So let's talk about Pride Day. That was yesterday, the 10th. Tell us how UniBAM celebrated Pride Day and how the rest of the community did.
One thing I love about yesterday was we didn't have to do much. One of our colleagues in the movement, our circle, organized something with the British High Commission yesterday.
Okay.
It was not only fun, but an opportunity to engage in some of the things that I do as for the organization around policy and advocacy. And so for most people it will be fun and colorful in speech. For me, it's an opportunity to push things forward.
Right.
So that's how I work, and it's always quiet. Yesterday, also, another colleague organization, Petal, had a gathering, and I was on the phone talking, and they yelled, "Caleb, where you are? We're calling your name," and I go, "Oh, right." And so, and all accidental, and I was given this award with a hand and a torch. And of course...
at the Petal event?
Right. And of course, I had to make a joke of it. And
It wouldn't be Caleb if
I don't know if that may be appropriate for TV.
I will stop right there.
Yeah, okay.
And only used the word D, and I said I thought I was going to get the D, and people don't go into the gutter.
So let's have a conversation with
Paul is
you.
like, all right, we just segue from TV because this is still open your eyes. But no,
Caleb needs some coffee this morning.
So the point was, what I loved about the event was it was from my community. It didn't feel like I was slighted. I had another award from another part of the sector of the country, and it was like, "Hey, Caleb, we have an award. We don't have time for you to talk. Bye." So that kind of slight, especially from straight people, while it's not very disrespectful, it's insulting to the sacrifices and the concerns of our population. I never forgot that. But last night, I think about 40 people, I could say about 40 people showed up. They listened, they laughed, they took pictures. We even had a song, "Girls Wanna Have Fun," and I go, "Yeah, what about work?"
No, I do want to commend, and I know this is in the reason why you are accepting of all of these awards is because you have been on the front lines for so long, and you know that is to be commended. That is to be given respect, and I believe that your community does appreciate that, and your membership is growing. So I want to kind of segue to Amir, because Amir, they're like, we shouldn't have a parade, but like, we will get there eventually. But speak to us about your membership, and speak to us about how you, because yes, it is Pride Day, but there is also Pride Month. So can we talk about the festivities and events and what you guys plan to do for the rest of the month?
Right. So I think that in terms of membership across the country, right, from the very north in Corozal all the way to Toledo, we have gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgendered, of all colors and different sizes, right? I believe that many people they go along with the American Pride Month, which is in June, and they don't really know that August is our Pride Month. But we are trying to promote that August is Pride Month for us here in Belize because of the constitutional challenge that Caleb took on, right?
I was going to ask, why is it in August
Yeah.
versus commemorating it in June?
Well, first of all, we're not America.
Well,
Yeah,
Central
yeah.
Americans.
Second of all, we have our own culture and our own history that goes back a couple centuries in Belize. What my friend here and board member didn't say is that one of the things I love about opportunities is that his mom, maybe a couple of months ago, I was able to drive her to court, and I have a big thing about women, and I go, remember now we need to treat her like a queen, make her comfortable. Well, I wasn't expecting the benefits of complimenting a woman. Next thing I know, she says, let's go eat. And I'm like, sure, free food, no problem.
Yes.
And so for us, while we celebrate the historic nature, the history of August 10, 2060, which is a court decision that not only influenced the way LGBT Belizeans see themselves, but it shaped the way strategic litigation happened around the country. The power for us is that moms all over this country continue to be protective of their children, and while they may not be out the closet on TV saying X, Y, and Z, I say now, for those people who are allies and in the closet, please come out with us. You may show your love to your child, but we want to see that collective love as well.
Yeah.
We're waiting.
Yes, I like that because whether or not you are of the community, you are friends of the community, and you can show that support. When it comes to the festivities, is there anything special that you all are doing?
Well,
Well,
go on.
So I think that one of the best what we expect from people is that they know that it's Pride Month and show it on social media.
Okay.
I think that is the best because, as I mentioned earlier, we would have liked to have a huge parade or several different events, but the resources this time around were not sufficient to be able to do so. But perhaps next year we will be having much more events. Apart from that, there are organizations that are having workshops and so forth for community members, yes.
Well, he forgets that he is the rebel or instigator of this thing called the march, the Pride March, we've been having this discussion about how do we do that? Do we include moms and bands and allies and the community? And so that would be the icing on the cake because as one of our member community said, we have arrived. I'm saying we not only arrive, we're now expressing ourselves upon arrival.
So are we hoping for one of those events, hopefully this month, before the month?
No pressure.
No pressure or anything. We're already in the second week of August, but okay.
Well, is that something where?
So if there's a brazen mom out there or a brazen ally out there who goes, let's go do this, pick up the phone and call me. I have no problems running with you. But as you know, COVID hit. 2022 is a year of trauma, but it's also the year of change and opportunity and transformation. And I'm hoping 2022 would bring us to 2023, and we will have that collective love that is so powerful and needed in this country.
Go ahead.
And before we change the topic, if you want to put on the rainbow flag outside your house, or if you want to light up your house in the different rainbow colors, or if you even want to do a special pride message and put it on social media, this would be the time to do it.
And they could tag
whichever the other organization, but my job really is to collect the numbers, archive it. I literally have 15 years of movement building on one hard drive, for example.
So in this month, as we continue celebrating Pride Month, how is it that you guys will continue to highlight the need for continued advocacy where your cause is concerned? Are there activities being planned to that end?
Well, for us, Pride in August is a special focus on our history and concerns. But I want to be clear, for us, it's not just LGBT pride, it's a discussion about solidarity. It's also a discussion about how do we express pride in our citizenship, and how do we take responsibility and give life to that citizenship in this country. For us, pride as a through an intersectional lens, we know that I'm just one heart attack away from disability. So we can't forget our folks in the disability community. I know that when it comes to women and the tone policing and the body policing that they go through, we can't forget women, because we go through the tone policing and the body policing in this country. When it comes to older person, the same apply. But on the poor, we must not forget that this referendum being discussed is for me a discussion, a test on our attitude around anti-blackness, and it's also a test as to how the poor is treated, or in this case criminalized for being poor. And I say that because the idea that you are poor, you are arrested for a stick of weed, and you have to waste a lot of time in court for that stick of weed, have your life damaged, is cause for concern in an environment where 52% of our people are poor. It's cause for concern when we discuss climate change, where 54% of our people live in climate vulnerable areas, where those same people depend on agriculture and tourism for the living in those areas. So those are all the issues.
I'm glad you highlighted those, because whenever people see UniBAM and they see Caleb, they only think about one thing.
But it's not only the concerns of your community.
Exactly, it is the concern of all of the marginalized minority communities. And I'm glad you brought that up, because then it kind of shifts focus to not just the rights of certain people, but the rights of all people.
But that's a reflection of collective bias or collective bigotry.
Right. But I wanted to express the highlight of you talking about all of these communities, right? Because we always forget. You know, exactly what you said. It's a routine that we do in this country, and it's to be commended that it's the representation of all groups and all minorities. And I applaud the efforts. And I don't tell you where you have to love. You have to love, no, you have to fight. But what I want to highlight that it is Pride Month for Belize, and it is because of the constitutional challenges that we've had in the country, right? Is there anything that we can expect in terms of the entire community, UniBAM, Petal, our circle, to come out and do something collectively as a group?
That is a discussion on strategic communication. And so for me, it's not just you show up because somebody tell you come on TV. It's the delivery of the message, talking about song bits, and we want to have control or the freedom to express the images the way we want. The struggle right now is that we work in an environment where governance is seen through a heteronormative lens or through straight people lens. And the struggle there is to break down these unconscious biases that operate in the system. And so I make the point, we're already working in various parts of the liberation, the civil rights, political, transnational, collectively to break down some of these things. And so the challenge for us now is to sustain intentionally our concerns, for example, around reform and being integrated into the economic development and policies and plan framework, and to ensure that when we think about planning and policy and legislation, we express our solidarity through engagement.
And while that is at the greater end of the spectrum, since the court ruling, how would you say have we as a nation progressed in embracing the freedom of expression?
Agreed. Well, I have to point to him because he puts a lot of grown adults to shame.
Does he?
How, Caleb?
Please explain. Yeah, tell me how. How do you put grown adults to shame?
Well, first he helps his mom with a small business that they have. That's really important when we're discussing economic livelihood issues and its impact on our community. And that's a good example where the issues of women and our concerns for economic independence merge immediately. But in that same sense, there is no safety net, no government assistance, nothing to protect that income as it comes along. And he would say, I'm pointing out how the floods this week ended up flooding their very shop. So they can go and ask government for a subsidy to cover the damage. They have to deal with that. So that's a burden. But that's an example of how things are moving. Separately, why I say he puts grown adults to shame is that when he was in high school and he put on his uniform, he took his suspension with a backbone, and not like some of these politicians I meet who tend to attend the University of Spinal Stud. He showed a backbone, said what he said, took his suspension. Yes, he was angry about it, but he stood up for his principle and never regretted it. The other part of that is he's going to go out there and be me.
I'm looking at you because I'm waiting for a response.
He has always had a reflection on strategy. So, for example, he has an IT background, and we've had a strategic conversation around how do we strengthen our tech strategy approach to documentation, data collection, economic and legislative reform process. He's also helping us out with looking at economic livelihood issues through a technology lens. So in that regard, he puts a lot of grown adults to shame because he's investing the time and energy while everybody else is making a comment on social media.
So then talk to us. Tell us about that progress.
Well, just to add a little bit to what Caleb was saying, that I guess he didn't say, but while growing up, since the constitutional challenge, I've had to, I was in high school and I had to endure being silenced by my other peers. Apart from that, traveling to school, being on the bus, I had to stand up to a couple of people that were talking bad about the community, and I had to be a voice for the voiceless. Every now and then I get to talk to other persons that want to know more, so that is how I assist. I also, because Caleb mentioned my background in information technology, what I try to do is try to provide information through that perspective, as in things need to be modernized.
Yes.
Now,
you're moving in a new era.
Right, we're moving into a new era. Life is changing so quickly, and we don't have resources to waste. So in that perspective, we try to use as much as possible to develop from where we are.
Yeah. So while Amir may be small in stature, what I'm hearing is that he's
larger
giant,
than life in the community.
a giant in the struggle.
Yes, but we're wrapping up very quickly, then don't tell me that
Yeah.
that time. So just for our viewers, final thoughts, final words, Pride Day, Pride Month.
For me, it's really express your support visibly. For me, we have the UniBAM business on Instagram, UniBAM support on Twitter. We have Facebook. Show your support and send us, tag us in your images, for example. The second thing is put in the work, because everybody have a function around social dialogue, and hold people to account, call them out for their behavior, and recognize or whatever attitude that you have. Please remember, it affects the way children see us, and you carry those attitudes in the next generation. We need to dismantle systems of oppression. So please put in the work.
Amir?
Well, I would say share the love. If you are able to record a short message, share it on social media, tag your friends, use the rainbow colors. If you want, you can always wear the UniBAM wristbands. And also, it would be nice if parliamentarians would give a little speech, a short video to show their support and know to their voters that, listen, we care about the LGBT community as well.
We got a comment from parliamentarians last year. This year, the struggle continues.
Well, I mean, there is a brewing issue right now where there are comments being made. Just
the month is not over yet.
It is.
That is going to be my positive. I don't tell Caleb.
And perhaps Amir's call.
Amir's call to action will
prompt that.
Will prompt that. But thank you, gentlemen, so much for coming in.
Thank you
we
for
are always
having
happy
us.
to have you here, and this is always a platform and a safe space. Yes. And with that, we are going to take our final break, and we will be back for wrap up. So stay tuned.